Hi everyone, Adrian from Audio Excellence Canada. Hope you're all doing well. Today is Friday. What's today? December
10th.
the 10th. So first of all, great news. Congratulations to everyone and to our viewership for all your support. Apparently we cracked 20,000 subscribers. Yeah, so that's great news. Thank you very much for doing that.
Yeah, but Angus subscribed about 100 times.
I did.
He has 100
That's not
anonymous.
true. Vilip's not even subscribed to our channel.
Shame
That's a
on
little
you.
nepotism. I couldn't go
It's
through
really
it.
not.
Alex, by the way, you need to subscribe and get all your friends to subscribe. Do like what we begged our kids to do initially when we started this whole thing. We told our kids to subscribe. You don't have to watch the video. Just click it on and just let it play in the background and tell all their friends. And they got horrified. No, our friends are not going to watch your videos. You know, what would they think of my dad being a YouTuber?
Well, maybe they might watch our videos if we had like TikTok elements.
There you go. So Vilip, start dancing. Take your clothes off and start dancing. 30
Why do I have to
seconds
take
only.
my clothes off?
30 seconds. I mean, that's
You
what.
said TikTok elements.
That's right.
That's what TikTok is.
See?
It's not always about taking your clothes off.
And then
Agnes.
they'll just keep
That's how you
swiping.
get the views, Vilip.
They'll keep swiping. Is it swiping left or right?
I don't
If
know.
you
I don't
want,
use
if you
TikTok
want
either.
to, if you want to,
Is it up or down?
this
I
not
don't
accept.
know. I think on TikTok is just like and dislike.
Oh, okay.
Whatever.
All right. So then they'll just dislike. Anyway, so much for that. Again, thank you very much for your support. As you, as regular viewers know, the money we get from YouTube, we match and donate to charities. So, thank you for your continued support. So today we are going to talk about the NAD C700 streaming integrated amplifier. It's just been released approximately a month ago. We got in a shipment, sold out right away. We got another shipment in, and the boys have been having fun playing with it. We've actually gotten the front entry area hooked up to a pair of Lumina 1s. Twos for our sort of background music, and it actually works quite well. One thing I must say about NAD, their stuff works. It always works. The streamer works. The Blue OS works. I like it very much for all those reasons. Anyway, so let me get into the specifics, and then our friend Vilip is going to go into more details. I didn't get a chance to really listen to it, so I won't be able to speak other than just sort of in the background what my initial impressions are. Okay, so as I mentioned, it's a streaming integrated amplifier. It is chock full of features, as is usual with NAD's streaming products. Check this out. Either Alex or Angus are going to overlay the text and features as I speak. MQA, Apple AirPlay 2, Roon endpoint, I guess. Amazon Music Ultra HD, Deezer, Qobuz, or whatever you pronounce that, Tidal, Bluetooth, HDMI eARC, so you can connect it to your TV and use your TV's remote. Assuming that your TV is compatible, you can use your TV's remote to adjust the volume. 5-inch display, preamp output and subwoofer output. Very small form factor, so it doesn't take up any space. Physically well made. It's an aluminum chassis. I'm quite impressed by that. It's got a USB port so you can add external drive, Ethernet or Wi-Fi, I think I mentioned that. 80 watts per channel to 8 ohms or 4 ohms, 120 watts instantaneous power. Literally just connect speakers. So that's my end of it. Vilip, take it away.
You were supposed to listen to it.
I did. I listened to it a little bit, but I didn't. Yeah, this morning I ran out of time. There was so much paperwork. It was nuts. So I spent the vast majority of time listening to the other subject of the next video we're going to do, and I ran out of time listening to this thing, but I did listen to it for a little bit. Anyway, go ahead.
So, this product is so well thought out that literally we should be able to sell hundreds of these, maybe one a day.
I think it's like the simpler version of what do they call it, the M1? Is that what they call it?
Well, they have
The
a
Master
fancy
version?
one in the Master Series called
Yeah.
the M10.
M10, sorry.
So this looks very much like the M10. It's not built to the same, exquisite standard of the M10, but it does, again, like you said, it has a metal chassis. It has a very big display on the front. It's not a touch panel, but it's relatively easy to navigate through it with
And it looks good.
2 buttons
Nice
in the
colors,
knob. Yeah,
good contrast.
Mhm.
Yeah, it looks good.
it's a very nice little unit, and it's small.
Yeah.
So obviously,
And I should say it's based on the UCD Hypex modified, custom Hypex.
right. So it's
chip.
one level above what the power node is, and it's uses the same kind of amplification that most of the classic series integrated NADs use. So there's an increase in the musicality of the unit, even though it's still Class D.
Yeah.
Is that
So-
like for or against? Are you in this camp? We've talked a lot about Class D, but you've never come out either for or against it.
Personally, I like what Class D does. It's. Let me see if I can say this properly so it's not misunderstood. When Class D first came out and I experienced it, was mostly in subwoofers, right?
Yep.
That was the almost ideal application. Small, compact, very little heat, huge power. You could drive all kinds of subwoofers really well with it. And then when I'm trying to remember, New Force. I think New Force was
Yep,
the first
New Force.
Class D amplifier I heard. And the first samples I heard, I didn't like. It was grainy, hard, rolled off in the top, tremendously susceptible to RF problems, popped like crazy when we turned. But there's no denying that it was powerful enough that it could drive difficult speakers. But I didn't like the sound. And then there were other Class Ds. I'm trying to remember which ones. I think Audio Research came up with one. Roland came up with a few. Every time I heard one, I acknowledged the benefits. I was just never emotionally connected to the music. I think the first one I heard that I really started to enjoy was Theta. Theta came out with this.
That big giant
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called.
dreadnought or
Yeah, something like that. Beautiful sound. It was really, really good. I really liked that. Since then, the Macintosh was very nice. The one that we got in, that was very nice.
yes, the 254.
Yeah, that was very, very nice. And perfect for the application, either to amplify your speakers or for multi-zone applications in your home so you could have music throughout the house.
My client who bought one of those
Yeah.
used it to replace quite a powerful
Craig?
parasound. No, this is Ken.
Ken. Shout out to Ken.
He lives on the shores of
Horrible guy. Every time he calls,
He's-
he'll say, "How are you?" I'll say, "I'm fine. How are you?" He says, "I'm living the life. I'm sitting in front of the lake. I'm enjoying my coffee."
He has this giant deck. He's got 4 outdoor speakers, all connected to the Macintosh, and without a subwoofer outside. He plays it really loud, and he invites all the neighbors over just to party all year long.
He has to dig it in.
And
Every
he's in
time
his
he calls.
60s.
Every time he calls, he has to dig in the fact that he's living the life.
He's living the life. He's
Horrible
never
guy.
invited me up there, but he's living the
I
life.
thought you said you go up there and he makes you steak.
No, he doesn't do that. That's the other guy. That's Grant.
Okay, so Ken heard that. Next time he comes up, steak.
What Ken makes me is a coffee, a very nice coffee, and usually has like, I don't know, cinnamon rolls or something like that.
Okay, all you guys get out your the world's tiniest violins and
No.
start playing for him. There you go. See?
So these are the tangents, Alex. These are the tangents that we kind of do because we just run off on talk about anything but what the actual review is about.
Okay, anyway, to get back to the point.
So the C700, lo and behold, it's got a Hypex module, right?
Yeah.
It's one of the better sounding Hypex modules, and it's not a great bass
No.
kind of, I guess all-in-one amplifier.
I think that was the first thing I noticed and I was disappointed with. It lacked bass.
Now it has a lot of power. Actually, the
Yeah.
rating is quite high.
Yeah, but it just seemed like it lacked bass.
So how can it be a Class D amp?
I don't know.
This is why I brought it up.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you want to play it fairly loud,
Yeah.
for want of a better word, you're going to need a subwoofer with this.
Yeah.
But it has bass management.
Yeah.
So it's designed,
Yeah, it's got crossover
Yeah.
frequency adjustments. Yeah.
as with all the Blue Sound products, you can easily add a subwoofer to it and integrate it fairly well.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple, and that's the way I would probably want to use it. One thing for you guys out there is that when this unit came in, I had already known about it for almost a year. Supposedly, I talked to Jay like last year about this, and he said, "Yeah, I got one in. I'm looking at it," but he never did any reviews. And so I knew this was coming, and then of course, in the midst of pandemic, everything gets delayed, and then suddenly it was here. And of course, we called up our sales rep, and Nick says, "Yeah, I can get you that. It's in stock." And they shipped it immediately, and then we sold like 3 units, boom, just like that. And then
Same day or
the same day.
Yeah.
And then they sent us a few more.
Yeah.
So that's what we have now. And I bought one because I thought, and I listened to it at first, and I thought.
And I gave him hell. I
You
said,
did?
"You just moved. You've got literally what 8, 10 pieces in the store that you keep buying that you haven't taken home. Am I wrong, guys? Right? He's got all the stuff in the store.
He's
People
not-
always
and
ask about his stuff.
That's
They're
right.
like,
And I
"Whose
keep
is
saying
this?"
to him, "When are you taking them home? I've got no space." And then he keeps buying.
I'm buying like little tiny things. You have to
That's-
understand the C700 is like, it's small. It could fit. It could
Have
be
you
like
even used it?
no. Bugger off. I haven't decided what speakers I'm going to use with it, and
Exactly.
I thought about hooking it up several times, but I don't have my.
What was that speaker you went to Montreal to get?
Oh, I bought a pair of Spender BC ones.
Okay, so hook those up.
They're waiting for Roger to fix the grills,
Okay.
so those would be good too.
Yes.
They're a little big
Yeah.
for the bedroom.
And they're a little bit boomy, so this will be perfect.
not
The
boomy.
amp has no bass. This thing has too much bass.
They're
Perfect.
not boomy.
perfect
They're rich sounding.
Yeah.
They're rich sounding. So I have some very specific thoughts about the C700,
Yeah,
and
go
they
ahead.
have nothing to do with musical quality. Like, I would never listen to it. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Okay, it is $2,000 Canadian dollars.
Sorry, yeah, I should have said that. 1,500 US, 2,000 Canadian.
Now you might think of that I'm jaded because it's a $2,000 piece or $1,500 piece.
Yeah.
That's not chump change.
Yeah,
That's
a lot of money.
substantial.
Yeah.
That costs much more than the sound bar, and you still need to add speakers to it.
Yeah.
But in our world, where we listen to cables that are easily double or triple that price, and that's on an everyday basis, this is an economical unit. It's a budget price unit, and I really don't want to listen to it in any way that is super critical. I tried to do that with the Power Node. One thing that did happen with the Power Node is that it didn't sound very good at the beginning. It sounded okay. It's like an appliance. And then one day it just changed. Like, it really, really, really changed after hundreds and hundreds of hours. I think that's pretty typical of Class D amps. If you judge them right at the beginning, even within the first couple hundred hours, you're really not listening to what they can sound like. I believe that with the C700, the same thing will happen at some point, maybe before Christmas. Because we play it a fair bit.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
All the time. It sounds lovely. It's pleasant. There's nothing bad about it. It's quite a bit better than the Power Node. I believe it's, you can run the attributes. It's a little bit more open. It has a little bit more focus. All those audiophile things. But really, that's not important. What's important is, obviously, it's small. It's very pretty. It works quite well. It's basically bulletproof and super easy to set up. And almost anybody can enjoy it and appreciate it instantly. I mean, I think, Angus, you sold one to a lady.
Oh yeah, she was buying a gift for her husband. for
So think about
Christmas.
that. So her husband's always denied himself and their family of really good sound, and she chose something as simple and as easy to use as the C700, and it will be a major step up for that entire family to have that level of sophistication and musicality in a little tiny small box with a pair of bookshelf speakers. It's a really wonderful a gift that she presented to her husband a few days later. That's what the C700 really is.
Yeah, I see the application, as you were saying that. My oldest daughter bought a condo, I should say, this last summer. And it's like a lot of condos these days, it's small. You open the main door, you walk like 20 steps and you're at the end of the condo. It's small, right? And there's literally no room. You've got the kitchen and you've got the one bedroom and then you've got this family room / whatever. It's a small little space. And if you wanted an audio system and a TV that would play back the sound, because TV speakers suck, this is literally the perfect product. And as you were saying that, I was thinking, yeah, this might be something I might give to her as a gift, or some sort of a decent sound bar, because for the longest time, I never understood why people bought so many small speakers from Totem, and Totem makes great speakers. They sell tonnage of them at Babler Radio, like literally tonnage of those small speakers. And now I understand, because if you live downtown, the condos are very small. And if you still want quality, this would be the perfect piece of electronics that would drive the speakers for that space. Perfect, small, easy to use, all the latest features. It's great, and not crazy money.
It's not crazy money. I mean, you're going to make a small investment in a good sound system, but NAD is the type of company that obviously that has a great deal of brand loyalty.
Yeah.
Now, they don't really make super expensive gear, and
Oh, the master stuff is not cheap.
it is, but it's not. It doesn't sell like the classic stuff, and they still make a relatively inexpensive Class A/B integrated amp that you can pick up for, it's less than $1,000. It's around $600 Canadian. But if you look at the C700, it's a jack of all trades. It does everything kind of well. It's extremely musical, but you can definitely play it in the background. It will not distract you. It will not irritate you. It's not bright sounding in a way that is fatiguing. You can play it all day. It's a little bit like Macintosh, but without any of the meters. But you could have meters on it because I believe there's some sort of
you can make it have meters.
there's
Really?
a setting. Yeah, there's a setting.
See, the other thing I really like also is that the volume adjustment is very, very gradual. So if you're used to a lot of products in the market, the volume control typically gives you most of the volume by the time you are, if you're using old analog volume controls, between 9 and 12 o'clock, most of the volume is already there. And if you go past 12, there's really not much more gain you have. With this one, it's numerical. So as you go from 0 to 50, the volume just slowly ramps up, which means then if you're in a condo or late at night, you can really fine tune the level you want to listen to. It doesn't go from soft to suddenly quite a bit louder.
Right. So there's a lot of adjustment.
Yeah.
You can, going up 1% is not going to make it, like from too soft to too loud.
That's right.
Which a lot of volume controls can happen.
Yeah.
This is very gradual. It's quite linear.
Yeah.
So if you have one of these units, don't be fearful that if you turn it up to 50, it's going to be like blaring.
Yeah.
You need to turn it up a fair bit higher, and it still has adjustments after that.
Oh, yeah.
In other words, there's room after that point. When you're even like 60, 70, there's still a little bit of room for you to increase the volume, especially if you have a sub. I did put one of these in the client's house, big giant room with the, is there someone there? With the with just the C700 and a pair of Sonetto 2s, it wasn't quite enough because he's got a big room. It's 2 stories tall. It's a great room. And then we added a little sub to it, and suddenly we could play it quite loud because it didn't have to do any of the bass. So that is something you really need to think about when you buy these small units. It's convenient, plays up to a certain level really beautifully, and you can always augment it by adding a small sub, which they're now making. So there are a number of manufacturers that make a small little sub. You can just put it away, tuck it away somewhere, and integrate the whole thing into it, and you have music for the next 20 years.
It'd be interesting as a comparison,
What's that?
although they're not directly comparable because of features. Hagel H95 versus the NAD.
I actually did compare them.
Did you?
Well, the client that I sold the C700 to was interested in the H95.
Okay.
I think it's pretty different, though. One's more of a consumer lifestyle product, and the other one's more like starter level audiophile product that we'd offer. Hagel definitely doesn't have nearly as many features
Not
as the
even
C700.
close.
Well, the Hagel would seem super stripped down.
Yeah, it's a very bare bones.
It's like the old
audiophile
NAD
thing.
3020.
Oh,
Boom.
well, yes, in a sense, but the Hagel get hot.
Yeah.
It's physically a lot bigger.
Yeah.
It is better sounding. There's
Yes,
no doubt
no
about
doubt
that.
about
But
that.
it won't do. So it's not as easy to connect everything up together. Plus,
The streamer's kind of limited. in
because
comparison.
Hagel doesn't write their own software,
Exactly.
they don't have an app that's designed specifically for streaming. That's where NAD with their investment in Blue Sound, it's really paid off.
Yeah,
They have
for
a
sure.
very mature OS that works it just works.
It's
It always
bulletproof.
just works.
Yeah.
It's the most reliable thing in the store.
And it's simple.
And it's super simple. It's easy to set up,
Yeah.
and it's never failed to, you know, like here's what we do in the store. We have different rooms. We have lots of different setups. If we need a streamer, we just move the blue sound. That's how good it is. We just move it. We plug it in. Boom! It works. Wi-Fi. It works. So we have it plugged into the front room right now, where we're testing a pair of Legacy Aris loudspeakers. We needed a source, so of course we just plugged in the blue sound. And I think you've actually used it in this room when we were having some issues with our streaming setup.
That's right.
But the blue sound did work. Just
Always
always
worked.
works.
Always worked.
And
This was back when I used to berate Rune. I used to say Rune sucked. And now I love Rune because we have the Nucleus.
Nucleus Plus. Yes, there's a Nucleus Plus. We're running on that.
Yeah.
So C700, I think it's, if you're just starting out, it's a great piece to have.
Yeah, I agree. Regardless of if we can call them, quote unquote, concerns, overall, I can't think of a better all-in-one, good value product, and reliable and easy to use and small form factor, et cetera, et cetera. Great buy. Great buy. Any last words from anybody? Alex, did you get a chance to say or hear or try anything? No?
No, not really.
Not yet? Okay. All right. Well, just so you guys know, Alex just joined us. I think I already introduced you the last time, right? No, in one of our last videos.
Briefly in the last video.
Briefly, okay, yeah. Like Angus, he goes to Waterloo, but unlike Angus, he actually studies something useful instead of basket weaving.
I don't study basket weaving.
Yeah. By
You
the way, when
study
I mentioned that the last
geography.
time in one of
It's
our videos,
environmental
I
management.
joked about how he studied geography, which is a waste of time. Somebody actually wrote in the comment section that says, "Oh, Adrian, shame on you," and it was a joke, right? You should know me, or if you don't, this is how I am. Very off the cuff, totally politically incorrect. I don't care. Anyway, thanks guys for again watching this video. If you've made it this far, it's just a bunch of guys sitting around chatting and catching up, and so hopefully you join our family and like it. And yeah, like the video, thumbs up, comments. Would love if you've seen this NAD. Let's see what you guys think. And once again, thank you very much for supporting us. Subscribe. We're over 20,000. Let's see if we can get to 50. And we'll see you again next time. Take care. Bye-bye.